I ask you, the Quran makes the statement, وَخَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ مِنْ عَلَقٍ, and we created the human beings from a hanging clot that was clinging to the wall of the womb. How did the Prophet Muhammad, how did he know that the embryo started out as a clot hanging and clinging to the wall of the uterus of the mother? Did he have a telescope? Did he have a cystoscope? Did he have some kind of x-ray vision? How did he receive this knowledge when it was just discovered 47 years ago? How did he know that the oceans have a barrier between them to separate the salt and the fresh water? How did he know that? How did he know الشمس والقمر إذا مستقر لها? How did he know that the sun and the moon and the planet are all swimming in an orbit that has been ordered for them? How did he know that? And on and on and on. How did he know that? When these things have just been discovered 25 or 30 years ago. Technology and science, the sophistication of which you and I well know, have just discovered these things. How did Muhammad, peace be upon him, 1500 years ago, an uneducated shepherd, a man raised in the desert, a man who was uneducated, could not read or write, how could he say something like this? How could he produce something like this? And how could anyone else living with him before or after produce something that has just been discovered recently? Impossible. How could a man who never left the Arabian Peninsula, a man who never sailed on a ship, who lived 15 centuries ago, make such clear and astounding descriptions that were recently discovered in this half of the 20th century? Also, if this is not enough, let me mention to you that the Quran has 114 chapters, over 6,000 verses, and there were hundreds of people in the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam who memorized this book entirely. Was he some kind of genius? How did that happen? Did anyone memorize the Gospel, any of them? Did anybody memorize the Torah, the Psalms, the Old Testament, the New Testament? Nobody, not even the Pope. But there are millions of Muslims today, here's one sitting here, who has memorized this entire book. This is the ambition of every Muslim, not some, every. How many Christians have you ever met in your life that has memorized the Bible? None. You've never met any Christian that memorized the whole Bible, because you've never met a Christian who even knew what was the whole Bible. Because the Christians themselves have over 700 different denominations, and there are approximately 39 different versions of the Bible with different books and different versions, different amounts of verses and different amounts of chapters, and they don't agree to that. So how could they even memorize what they don't agree about? It's just some facts about the Quran. And I'm not speaking in a condemning fashion. I'm a person who was a Christian. A person who found out these things through my own investigation. A person who is now sharing this information for you, overturning some rocks for you to look under. And it's up to you. Finally, suppose I told you that this book has been universally preserved without the slightest alteration of any kind in 15 centuries. If all of this is true, what I'm saying, if it is all true, would you agree that this book is quite profound and unique, to say the least? Would you be honest enough to say that? Of course you would, if you were honest. And you are. Within yourselves, you have to come to that conclusion. Many other non-Muslims came to the same conclusion. Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, Napoleon Bonaparte, Winston Churchill, many, I could go on and on and on. They came to the same conclusion. Whether they accepted Islam openly or not, they came to that conclusion, that there's no other literature in the world that is as profound as the Quran, as a source of wisdom and healing and direction.